This is Jonathan St. James, and you're listening to The Truth is Still Straight podcast.
All right, folks. Once again, it is Jonathan St. James, and this is The Truth is Still Straight podcast. So, before we get started, before we get into everything, I just want to say thank you, Sister Millie, for reaching out and letting me know you're okay.
Oh, my.
And definitely,
this is a certified hood classic.
Thank you, Sister Millie, for shouting out. All right, folks. Excuse me there. So before we get started, I just want to give a shout out to all those who support, watch, like, subscribe, comment, whatever you do on a regular basis. And those people are Pedro Falcone, Kenny Alpha, Sister Millie from the West Coast, Burundi shall smile one day, Jario, V, Mr. Wilkes, Milton Gonzalez, Snotty, Reggie, Courtney, K. Law, Latoya, Shelia, Michael Thomas, Darrell, Big G, Galloway, Sam T, James Wilson, Tyrone Biggs, Terrence Meir, JD Whitelaw, Julian Flournoy, Kid Vegas, 8402, Eric Jordan, Michael McCreary, Kane Major, Kundalini Lee, Marcus A. Morris, Heath, 313 Money Team, to Sean Howe, Steve Stowe, Marvin Banks, Anthony Perry, Nelson Fu, Duke Absaf, Reminded, TM Rowland, Flavor Sweet, Eric Jordan, Glenn Isaac, Midtown Griffith, Soapbox Willie, Steve Opoku, Brian Lindeman, JoJo A Go-Go, Big K 3695, Still Sharp and Still, Stefan Plug 2, Cass Angel, Thomas Ford, Gary Leonard, Fidel Castro, Frank Atongfor, Marcus Renton, Cunha the Almighty, Krista Brown, Joe Fit, Jonathan Pope, Corporate ENT, Wash Gamer, Dominic Volpe, 10 Lassie, Total Misdemeanor 75, Dan M, Amajek, Showtime, Michael Ray, Jay Wade, R.W. Lamont, Michelle Carlisle, Sandra Jones, Cobra Clutch, Tyel Cole, AMD Sutherland, Dede China, Salah Aldin, No Ethic Blog Philippines, George Stewart, Jaynard Lambert, Jose Garcia, Rada, Submissive Wife, Louis Campos, Cosmic Funk Rabbit, and last but definitely not least, Go Navy Beat Army. Appreciate everything. Thank you. All right, folks.
Am I the meanest?
Sure enough.
Am I the prettiest?
Sure enough.
Am I the baddest mofo low down around this town?
Sure enough.
Well, who am I?
Sure enough.
Who am I?
Sure enough.
I can't hear you.
Show enough.
The Shogun of Harlem.
All right, folks, this is about that Kevin Samuels reaction time. And this episode aired last year, April 10th, 2021. And the name of this episode is Modern Women Are Looking for Suckers. So let's get into that right now.
When should a woman lower her value? That's the same question.
I feel like a woman should lower her value once she's been through the storm. So for instance, if you started off a certain weight, once you gained a certain weight, I feel like your value goes down. If you started off, which we all do, without children, and you end up having 2 or 3 or more, then your value should go down. At a certain age, when you get, for instance, when you're in your 20s, around 26, if you can't cook, you don't know how to clean, et cetera, your value goes down compared to others.
So in other words, a woman should only lower her value in something that's negative or unfortunate to happen.
If she's not able to uphold the primary things that she's saying she's able to bring to the table in the first place.
Well, the things you just said I wouldn't consider those to be positive.
No, because we're talking about the negative. Only something negative. I don't think anything positive will make a woman's value go down besides her being too hardworking.
My point is this, that if she gains weight, if she's gone through a storm, if she had kids, if she can't have, these things are counting against her. So lower your value. But I'm looking at it from the man's standpoint. Are you looking for a fair deal? Are you looking to find a sucker?
A fair deal.
Because my thinking is, if you really want to get into, if you really want to sell your vehicle, you put a fair market price on it so you could sell it, so you can get it on off your lot, whatever, and somebody else can drive it. But the way you're talking about it is you're looking for somebody. These women are looking for somebody to pay premium dollar for something that ain't worth a lot. Then you lower your value down to what you really think it's worth after you've had a wreck.
After you've had it.
That's what
You
he
said been
said.
through the storm. That means a wreck. So that would be no different than you get into a car wreck, pull out the bumper, paint it up, and sit it there. No test drive needed. Just come by it.
Come get it at this price. No, that's not what I mean. That's not what I say. That's not the approach I mean to give. I mean to put it, I'm just trying to give some different examples because for different people, it's going to be different. It'll be totally different from me compared to someone else, but I'm speaking in a general.
See, one thing I find interesting you ladies try to do, you try to be inoffensive to women. You try to give the broadest answer possible.
That's true.
You're not helping anybody when you do that.
I mean, for me, I don't find myself becoming devalued unless
You stupid.
unless
How old are you? How old
So-
are you? How old are you?
I'm 26.
26. Do you want to get married?
I do. I'm indecisive on it.
All right, I'm gonna stop it there real fast because she's sounding real reckless with that tongue. Though she hasn't really tried to be a thorn in Kevin's side. Some red flags going on there. And one of the red flags that I see is her outlook on relationships. So she's definitely combative on the choice of whether she wants to be in a relationship or not. But I'm seeing this, it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
You want children?
I don't. I will adopt before I have
know
kids. I need to be persuaded.
Why would you adopt?
Why would I adopt? Because there's plenty of kids in this world that need parents besides I can bring a kid into this world, but like I said, that's something that really needs to be persuaded and talked upon because not everybody wants kids. I'm not really a big fan of having children myself. So
Okay.
I can
So is there a reason you don't want to put on the weight? You don't want to carry the kid? What?
No, I have a kid. It's just the risk that comes with having a kid.
What's
Those
that?
problems that come with
You
having.
mean what your body's meant to do?
If I'm not married or in the right position,
I mean, a presumption that you're married and have kids. See, it always interests. I'm always fascinated when women want to be married but you don't want to have kids. It's like that's a selfish woman.
Yeah, and I want to say not even just that, but the mere fact that you saying the problems that come with having kids. So if you adopt kids, what they come with no problems. I'm under the assumption that if you adopt a kid, clearly they have problems to begin with. That's 9 out of 10 times why you're adopting them because they come from a hard background. They don't have parents. So that's already a problem. So why would you adopt when you know they already come and you're saying having your own child is more problematic than adopting a child that's coming with problems already? That really makes no sense at all.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Let's continue.
I said I don't mind having children.
No, you said you have to be
That's what
persuaded.
you said.
You did not give a ringing endorsement. So whatever the reason is, it's selfish. It's for you.
If a man comes to me and tells me, babe, if my husband comes to me and he's telling me, babe, I want to have a child for the reasons being that I just want to have my legacy. If that's a good enough excuse for my husband and for me, and he's gonna be there, I'll have his kid. That's not a big deal. Like I said, if I'm willing to adopt, I'm pretty sure I'm willing to have someone's child.
But see, the thing is,
Right.
That's you're willing to adopt. You don't know how that sounds to men. How that sounds to men is I gotta go still pay for somebody else's DNA. I want my DNA out there. I'm not paying for raise somebody else's bastards. I want my kids. I want to shoot my baby better in your womb. I want you to cook my baby and put it out here. I want to see a little me, God damn it. I don't want to see somebody else's kids. So, but that's how men want it, because men are like, if I'm going to have to die for this thing, I want it to at least be mine. That's why men don't want to marry baby mamas. That's like,
and that's all I want from a man, for him to let me know that that's what he wants, that child. And if he says that,
but my
that's not what you said.
When
that's
you
not what
talked
you
about
said.
relationship and babies, it was all from a fear, scarcity, negativity standpoint.
That's
it wasn't,
right.
Oh yeah, I like to be married. And see, that's really what it comes down to. I think a lot of black women, if you really want to be honest, you have a horrible outlook on marriage and relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Horrible. That's why I say you are in therapy.
That's
Because
true.
ain't shit a black man can do about this. How you got this warped to 25 and 26 years old ain't a dating man's problem. Ain't got shit to do with a man.
That's facts.
There's no way that if you just a 26-year-old woman, she talking about if a man was going to do this and do that, I would not have done, and then this, and you have to convince me. I'm like, wait a minute. So all those conditions, and then he just run down the street and Becky Marisol Mylene or woman from the continent, what? You want to marry me? Thank you. But you want all those conditions. So why is it so negative is the question. Why is it so negative? Why is it so fear-based?
It would be only that big because that's what you're looking at. But if you look at the positive part of it, you can look at the aspect of how a man wouldn't have to worry about, for one, arguing with me down about stuff like that. Like I said, I'm willing.
What you talking about, Willis?
Whoa. Let me tell you, this lady did so much double talking. I don't know. I don't know. That's a lot there. That's really a lot. I'm not catching it, but all right. So she's kind of saying she's willing to have it. She doesn't want to have it. I'm not sure if she's talking like that because she just doesn't want to get into a battle with Kevin because he's ready to rip her a new one. But she's definitely not consistent with what she's trying to say. She says somebody got to convince her. Then if he says he wanted, that's all he got to say. This lady is all over the place. And I'm not sure if she's being honest at any point in this conversation, but let's continue.
You wouldn't have to worry about arguing you down about what?
About having a child.
Right.
I think you took my response more in the sense like a man would have to get on his hands
That's
and
what you
beg me for a baby.
I just took it the way you said it. I don't know if that's what you
Yes, you
meant it.
did.
That's the way you said it.
No.
You took it that way, and that's okay. I'm gonna let you do that. That's fine because
You'll be able to see in the comment section. You'll be able to see in the comment section on the replay. The comment section on the replay. See, I listen pretty well, so I responded to what I heard, but you'll be able to see it in the comment section. Because
talk about it.
So I asked you, do you want to be married?
Maybe.
Do you want to be married undecided? Do you want to have kids? Not so sure. I don't want to adopt. And then the reasons is because of all the changes with your body, this, that, all negative.
Because every man don't have a child. I don't know who my husband's gonna be. If that man doesn't want to have a child.
Okay. I asked you what you wanted. I didn't ask you, did you want to marry a man who doesn't want a child? I asked you what you wanted.
Well, come on, Kevin. I'm 26 with no kids already. I'm in a career. If I wanted to have right now, I would have forced it. But my response to you was that I don't mind being persuaded on it, meaning that a man.
What I'm saying is it's not normal.
Right.
For a healthy woman to have to be persuaded to want to be married.
That's
and have
facts.
Children. But it is normal in our community because our women. Excuse me?
The answer is no. The answer is no. Then I'm an auntie of however many nieces and nephews I have right now.
There it is.
No, the answer is no. Right now, I do not want to have kids. But later on,
in
the near future, if I meet a man 2 to 3 years from now who's willing to talk about marriage and want to have kids, I'm open to the conversation.
The truth is out.
If he don't,
let me try you.
That's not no dog. That's family.
Here's the deal. There's a problem with this lady, and I'm gonna tell you, if I met this lady on the street or somewhere, and she said that to me, I would keep on walking because you see how she started out. Then she was like, "Well, here's what it is," and the way she's talking to Kevin, that's the way she's gonna talk to a guy she's dealing with. So whatever it is, whatever her issue is, she definitely has a preconceived issue with men. Doesn't matter any, and the guy would have to convince her to think differently, and that is a challenge that I don't see why I would do that, because she's not showing the qualities. I mean, she's not an unattractive woman, but her attitude is not attractive at all. And I can't imagine outside of sex what somebody would really see in her, unless he was a hobosexual and needed a place to stay. For those of you who don't know what a hobosexual is, that's those guys that find women who can take care of them and move on in. And women don't tend to like them in the long term. They can be exciting in the beginning, but after a while, they lose their luster as the women have to carry them. So, all right, let's continue.
Want kids, and if he don't want kids or he do want kids, but not naturally.
Your mother and father married?
We could adopt.
Were your mother and father married?
No.
Okay, where's your dad?
Married to my stepfather who did raise me.
So, is there, what's the benefit of being married?
The benefit of being married, in my opinion, just the love, the undeniable love, the presence of each other, the support, everything that comes along with having someone to call your partner.
Are you a nurse?
Nope.
I'm a caregiver. I care.
Are you a nurse, a CNA,
Stupid.
or something like that?
I'm a medical assistant, phlebotomy tech, and EKG tech.
So basically, not a nurse. Not a nurse. A nurse didn't come out one point in this conversation when he asked her, are you a nurse? She said she's a medical assistant. Wow, that is not a nurse. And folks, I'm guessing she got a certificate, not a college degree. But here's the thing. She said she had a career. And for those of you who don't know what those things do, EKG tech and a phlebotomist is not that great of a career, nor as a medical assistant. So it's interesting how she bring up to herself in the beginning of this to try to put herself on some kind of level that she was like a doctor or a nurse or physician assistant or something like that. But she's doing something a lot of other people do and don't carry on this way. This is not a job that people do and all of a sudden they're too good for people and they can't have a personal life as well as work in a hospital or medical center. Lady thinks very highly of herself, probably more highly than anyone else. Very dangerous.
Well, marriage ain't got nothing to do with love.
Oh, I believe because love don't love nobody. But it's nice to have that idea.
That's romantic notion that girls get to believe. Marriage is about duty and responsibility. But in our community, relationships, however you may think it's coming across, I'll let you look at the rebroadcast and then look at the men and the women in the comment section. I'm telling you, there's nothing that sounds remotely positive or affirming about what you're saying. It's all negative, scarcity, risk. Agree. And the thing is, I understand that in our community because so many of our women really are just single people out here working. Because y'all ain't marrying nobody. You ain't marrying black, you ain't marrying nobody. But here's the thing.
I think that's funny.
Wake up,
unless you're making six figures plus, once you age out of the workforce, how you gonna retire? Most women are making less than $70,000. That's not enough to retire on. There's not gonna be government aid. There's not gonna be the Jesus house. What you gonna do between the ages of 65 and 85? Because you're not gonna have a retirement. You're not gonna have Social Security. You're not cat food, living with each other. See, the benefit of marriage is not having to have to go through this life on one income. So I'm all for what you're saying. I just hope you plan on making about $150,000 or more for the rest of your life to have something to retire on.
Yeah. Wait, I do really well for a single person. I do very well.
I said $150,000 because most single people make middle class wages. That don't mean you're broke, that don't mean you're rich. But
Right.
the median income for women is less than men, and most medical assistants, you're not making 100,000. I would say you're probably mid-high 5 figures. But that does not translate into growth year over year. There's a cap.
It's that
on
much.
that. There's a cap that stays there, and what happens is year over year, every year you lose 3% to inflation. Last year, did you get a raise?
Yeah.
What percent?
I work with. I mean, well, COVID came in,
Well,
but
if you're just
I
getting a 3% raise, that's just cost of living. So if you're not getting around 5 to 7%, you're not gaining any more money. So my point is, whether there's a man or kids or not, how you gonna provide for yourself until the end of life?
Well, let me just stop right there. This video is almost over, but I just want to make a point that he said that it's not necessarily true, because if you get a 3% raise, yeah, that could be to reflect the cost of living, but it depends where that 3% is at. Because even on the low end of your income earning, then 3% is nothing. But if you made, let's say, $100,000, then the 3% is a little bit more than somebody would be making $50,000. So the increase, it just depends on the amount, really, because it's not a high percentage, but the amount gets bigger the higher your salary gets. So I mean, I understand the point that he's making, but you got to base it on what you're making now versus what you made before. And like I said, it's not 3% of 50,000, and then next year is 3% of 50,000. Is 3% of 50,000, then 3% of what that total will be, and then 3%. And if you play the game right, depending where you work, the higher your income becomes, the better off you are with that 3%. 3% is not a lot, but it can add up. I've been there.
I'm agreeing with you on that as a pet owner. Even though this food don't cost much, I consider if I did have a kid or someone else, a struggle.
So you have a dog?
I have a dog. I just got a rescue dog. See, don't judge me with this adoption stuff. Adopted dog, but you know what, Kevin? I was an Uber driver.
I'm just saying. I'm a PhD. I'm a nurse. I'm a CNA. I'm all this other single dog mom. That's what I say. That's why people are putting all the hearts up, because they're like, they've heard it so many times. It's like over. And then when I talk to women, it's the same kind of apprehension, the attitude of really much like, I'm just gonna do what I do, and a man has to come to me and convince me and make a good case and this and that and all this other stuff. And I'm gonna tell you this, sweetheart. No, he ain't. They're not. No, because he's the prize. He's the catch. If a man that's worth a damn, you're gonna have to go to him to make a case why he should take you on as his wife, versus him come to you. Now they may do that to try to hit it, but at 26, you're still in your fertile years. But when you cross 35,
ain't no time to waste. Ain't no time. Ain't no games
wasting time now.
That's why I said that in our community we need a better outlook on relationships, because honestly, put you to the side. Our young women should not be thinking this negatively about relationships.
I agree.
Our young women should not be like, oh my God, it's too young to get married and so on and so forth. No other race of women thinks about marriage and relationships the way our women do. And it's a result of how the women have talked to the women. Because the men y'all don't listen to us. They're starting to listen now, but y'all don't really listen to us that much. But I appreciate you coming on, sis. We got to get another person.
Wow, that was interesting right there. And I'm going to say she wasn't too bad, but I could see the disagreeing tendencies that she had when it came to expressing how she felt. She didn't want to be wrong, but she also didn't seem like she really wanted to pop off with Kevin, but it did sort of teeter on her going off on him, not to be rude to him, but to express her point. I don't think she could express her point in a way that would have been along the lines of logic and reasoning, but more so of how she was feeling based on what she thought was best for her. And as you see, that didn't sound like a recipe for success when it comes to love. And I want to get back to that. Yeah, love is just very tricky. That's a very, very a shaky foundation to build a relationship on, because people change feelings all the time. Unless you truly understand what that love is about for you, it can be a problem. All right, folks, it's about that time for the braces. Let's go. Relationship braces. Bringing hearts together, one heart at a time. 26-year-old medical assistant, phlebotomist, and EKG technician. Where did you go wrong? And what could I say to help you to get right? All right. So you went wrong because you seem to be letting situations in your life dictate the way you view relationships, even though you didn't say it, but clearly your father's not there. You didn't want to emulate what your mother had. So that tells me you have some unresolved issues with relationships, because most of the time the desire for relationship is because of or in spite of. And right now, in spite of would be you've seen a bad situation, but you wanted to do right. Or you've seen a bad situation and you was going to do the same thing or worse. Or again, you saw a good situation and wanted to do it. So it looked like you don't want to follow in your mother's footsteps and get married. So I'm not sure what that stepfather was about. But what I could say to you is you really got to look at it from the perspective of doing, not overthinking, not putting somebody through a process. You got to be ready to give in when you let somebody in. If you don't, you'll be here 10 years from now singing the same old song. So those are the braces. All right, folks, you know what time it is. It is towards the end of the show, and it is the week before, the Sunday before Thanksgiving. So I just want to say it's this time.
I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, rams, dog, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken, turkeys, rat.
All right, folks. So until next time, if you celebrate Thanksgiving, have a happy Thanksgiving. And if you don't, until next time, it is Jonathan St. James. The truth is still straight, and I am out.